This is African American History is American History. Amelia Isadora Platts Boynton Robinson was a key leader in the civil rights movement in Selma, Alabama, and played a major role in the historic 1965 Selma to Montgomery marches. She made history as the first Black woman to run for Congress in Alabama and the first woman of any race to run on the Democratic ticket in the state. While she didn't win, her campaign brought much-needed attention to voter discrimination. Born on August 18, 1905, in Savannah, Georgia, Amelia was one of 9 siblings. At a young age, she became passionate about women's suffrage and worked to secure voting rights for women. She attended Georgia State Industrial College for Colored Youth, now Savannah State University, and later transferred to Tuskegee Institute, now Tuskegee University, where she earned a degree in home economics in 1927. She also studied at Tennessee State, Virginia State, and Temple University. Amelia's commitment to fighting voter discrimination started in 1934 when she tried to register to vote in Alabama. At the time, thanks to disenfranchisement, Alabama made it nearly impossible for Black people to register. This practice, firmly embedded in Jim Crow laws, excluded most Black citizens from political life for decades. By 1965, despite Selma, Alabama's Black population being 50%, only 300 African Americans were registered to vote. That same year, peaceful protesters were brutally attacked by police, beaten, tear-gassed, and arrested. But after the Voting Rights Act was passed in 1965, the number of registered Black voters in Selma jumped to 11,000. In early 1965, Amelia helped organize a march to Montgomery, Alabama's state capital to demand voting rights. On March 7th, the marchers, led by John Lewis, were met with violent opposition by police. As they crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the march turned into a bloodshed-filled day that became known as Bloody Sunday. Amelia Boynton was beaten unconscious, and an image of her lying on the bridge, bloodied and hurt, spread worldwide, showing the brutality of the police response. In a 2014 interview, she said of the horrific event,
"Then they charged. They came from the right. They came from the left. One of the troopers shouted, 'Run,' and I thought, why should I be running? Then an officer on horseback hit me across the back of the shoulders, and for a second time on the back of the neck. I lost consciousness."
Despite suffering from tear gas burns and physical injury, Amelia didn't back down. She participated in both of the following marches, continuing to fight for justice. Amelia passed away on August 26, 2015, at the age of 104. President Barack Obama honored her legacy with these words, quote, "She was as strong, as hopeful, and as indomitable of spirit as quintessentially American as I'm sure she was that day 50 years ago. To honor the legacy of an American hero like Amelia Boynton requires only that we follow her example, that all of us fight to protect everyone's right to vote. End quote. Amelia Isadora Platts Boynton Robinson's life and work remind us that change doesn't come easily, but with determination, it's always possible. Walter Francis White was more than a journalist and a novelist. He was one of the most influential civil rights leaders of the 20th century. For 25 years, as head of the NAACP, he led the fight against segregation and disenfranchisement, directing a legal campaign that reshaped America. He joined the NAACP in 1918 as an investigator, traveling across the South to expose lynchings and race riots. Fair-skinned with blonde hair and blue eyes, he could at times pass as white, a dangerous but vital advantage in his investigations. Yet, as he declared in his autobiography, A Man Called White, quote,
"My name is Walter White. My skin is white. My eyes are blue. My hair is blonde. I am a Negro."
End quote. In 1931, he succeeded James Weldon Johnson as NAACP leader and transformed the organization into a powerful force for justice. He pressed for anti-lynching legislation, challenged segregation in the courts, and worked with President Harry Truman to desegregate the armed forces. Under his leadership, the NAACP created its Legal Defense Fund, paving the way for landmark victories, most notably the Supreme Court's 1954 ruling in Brown versus Board of Education, declaring segregated schools unconstitutional. He also helped grow the NAACP's membership five-fold to nearly 500,000. By the time of his death in 1955, Walter White had left behind a legacy as a fearless investigator, a skilled strategist, and a relentless force in the fight for civil rights.